And welcome everybody to this little discussion about social media. Um, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I think you should approach social media and also to ask some questions about what you want social media to do for you. I'm going to start out with a little bit of a background here. I'm not a
Oh, yeah, on the bottom, there's a.
I'm not a really big fan of social media to get work. I don't think there's any numbers or any data out there that tells us that social media will help you get work. It can help you get notoriety. It can help you get press. It can help you get buzz, etc. But I'm just not convinced that it helps you get work. Um, and I think I see way too many photographers uh, depending on social media to get their work. They think, well, if I have enough Twitter followers, I'll get work. But that's not the case. There's no data that says that. There's no real anecdotal data that says it. It's just easy. And because it's easy, people go onto it and say, well, I'll just work on my Instagram and that'll save me. And it won't. I can pretty much guarantee you it won't. So we're going to talk about this whole thing in kind of a reverse order of the ones that I think need to be thought about in your work, but not really spend that much time on them unless you're good at it. And down at the bottom is Twitter, and I basically would my whole thing with Twitter is don't bother with it. It's too noisy right now. It's there's too much activity. Most of Twitter these days is really sort of a, a sort of a festering wound on the social media landscape. It's not a fun place to be, and I just don't see anybody going there to find photographers. With all social media, you have to ask yourself, why is someone going there? Why they're going there may be a clue to what you can do once they get there to capture their attention. So if everybody is going to a simple correlation. Here in Arizona, I see my friend Jerry's here. Hey, Jerry. Here in Arizona, if you go down and get the car washed, someone is going to be there looking at your windshield to try to find if you've got cracks in your windshield. They can sell you windshield repair. Am I right, Jerry? Say right here in Phoenix?
Yeah, absolutely, all the time. Whenever you
Yeah.
go.
It doesn't matter which car wash you go to, there's a guy there because you're there to get your car cleaned. You're there thinking about your car. No better time for them to come out and say, look, you got a crack in your windshield and we need to fix it. Okay, so let's take that back to Twitter. Why is someone going to Twitter? Is an art director going to Twitter to find a new photographer? I would say in almost every case, no. They're going there to see what's happening in the news. They want to go check on their stocks. They want to do that, but they're not going there to find a new photographer. It's not in their set. So why are you spending time doing that? It'd be like the guy selling fix your windshield at the fish store. You're at the fish store to buy fish. You're not thinking about your car. It's not part of it. So Twitter, I put it the last. I say do it if you want, but I don't see it. I don't hold out any hope it'll do anything for you, but waste your time. The next one up is one that I admit that I know nothing about. I see Carmen is here. Carmen is the biggest TikToker I know. She is a what? No, she's laughing now. I guess maybe I may have that wrong, Carmen. I'm so sorry. um, is TikTok. I don't know that much about TikTok. I don't know if TikTok is a place for business to business. And face it, that's the business we're in. Business to business. We're not in business to consumer. If you're a wedding photographer or if you're a portrait photographer, I'm not really speaking to your business because that's a different business. You're selling to consumers. We're selling to other businesses. We're selling to art directors, editors, uh, press, PR people, marketers of all different stripes. But I don't know if TikTok is the place to do it. Again, the mindset of someone going to TikTok is that they're going to mindlessly spend some time watching little videos, little music videos, or whatever TikTok is. It's not made for us. It's not a serious place for B2B. And yet I see all these people going, oh, you've got to get big on TikTok. I don't know why you would want to. Now, if you want to be a TikToker, I guess, if that's what you want to be a TikTok personality, then that's something different. But it takes as much work to become a TikTok personality as it takes to become a photographer. Do you really have that much time to spare? I don't think you do. I think you got to focus on doing what you do. So sorry, these allergies, and they're working on construction on the road 2 streets over, and there's dust flying everywhere. So it's really been bad on my throat. So I'm sorry. I apologize if I cough now and then. I don't have the dreaded Rona. I just have an allergy cough. The next one up is one that I think photographers should use more, but don't, and that's YouTube. YouTube is a fantastic place for photographers because it's visual, and because art directors, creative directors, and editors go to YouTube to, quote, see new stuff. That's what they're going there for. They want to see new stuff. Great. I want my stuff to be there. You can make a little portfolio on YouTube. It's like, drag all your images into iMovie or Vegas or whatever you have, whether you're on PC or Mac or whatever. Make a little slideshow, get a little piece of music to go behind it. This is, Don Giannetti food portfolio. 30 pictures of food, lasts about 3.5 minutes, totally done. Boom, put it on YouTube, put the people on YouTube, put your product on YouTube, etc. YouTube's long tail means that it's not just the stuff that you do today that gets seen. The stuff is seen for years afterwards. When I go up to YouTube, I can see in my home panel, I'll say, oh, they've recommended this YouTube to me because of what I watch. It's 4 years old. That doesn't happen on a blog, ladies and gentlemen. If you're doing a blog, people rarely look at anything past the first article. Whatever article is new today, they see that. They rarely go down. Some of them do, but it's a huge drop-off amount of people who start looking at your archives. But on YouTube, those archives live forever. You can do so much with them. You can embed them into web pages. You can put them into your Facebook pages. You can do 1,000 things with them. And yet it's one of the places where I don't see still photographers spending time. I would suggest to you, spend time there, build content for it. Okay, next one up, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the Facebook for adults. It's the Facebook for business. It's also one of the most spam heavy places I've ever been. Getting in some of those groups, and then all they want to do is sell you and sell you. And it's very, very difficult. However, most business people are on LinkedIn, which means you can find a name. Let's say you're doing your research for your email list. You find a name, you got Bob Smith Advertising. You go up to LinkedIn, there's Bob Smith. You can actually go and chat with Bob Smith. If you're a pro, you don't have to know Bob Smith to be his connection. If you're not the pro LinkedIn, then you've got to, offer some reason why you want to be with Bob. You can say, well, we're in connected industries, or I just want to chat, or just want to say hello, or whatever the current thing is. If you're on the pro, you can really find out. You can find out, oh, he works for Bob Smith Advertising. He's the creative director. Oh, look at this. This is his hobbies. This is stuff. This is his email. So now you've got his email. You've got a place to contact him. It's an amazing tool for people in our trade looking to go business to business. It sucks for putting pictures up, though. there's really no place on LinkedIn where you can put a picture. So I suggest that instead of doing that, you hook your Behance. We're going to get to Behance here in a moment, but you hook your Behance or Behance. I like Behance. That's kind of, anyway, you hook your Behance up to your LinkedIn, and then people can see your photographs, your different projects over there. But the best thing about LinkedIn, the absolute best thing about LinkedIn is their blog. You can blog to the LinkedIn members, and you can tag that blog with things like photography, commercial photography, etc. An average blog post that you see on most bloggers, an average blog post gets about 200 or 300 views on an average photographer's blog, 200 or 300 views over the first week it's published. On LinkedIn, it's 5 to 10 times that. You can get 1,000 to 2,000 views on LinkedIn when you post a little article. The article can simply be how I shot beer for such and such restaurant, a couple behind the scenes shot, a couple beer shots, whatever. But you're showing art directors how you finished the job, how you did the job and you finished it up. You're not doing work for other photographers. This isn't, oh, place your light meter here and make sure your background is a stop and a half brighter. You're not doing that. You're telling clients how you solve the problem, because in commercial photography, all we do is solve problems. From the moment you get on set to the moment you leave, you're solving problems, visual problems. So how did you approach that problem? How did you come up with a solution? What did you do for the client? How did it work out? Oh, the client really loved the work we did for him, and I was able to continue on and do such and such else. That's great. And the other thing, LinkedIn has a much longer tail also than a personal blog. I can tell you from blogging experience, I've been blogging since 2001, that rarely do people go back in your blog to see anything. Along with LinkedIn, I'm going to put something that you may have not thought of, and that's Medium. Medium.com. Think of it as a communal blog. You write articles and you put them on Medium. Medium, you could write an article on 10 different beer shots I did, or here's, why I shoot lay flats, or anything like this. Any solution to a commercial problem, visual problem, you put up there. Now here's the magic. Art directors and creative directors go to Medium in their minds to see new stuff. They're going there with that mindset. They're not going there for the news. They're not going there for, girls in bikinis like on Instagram. They're not going there for anything except to learn something and to see new stuff. So right off the bat, your clientele, your possible clientele is going there ready to receive your message. And how many mediums should you do? One a month, you'd be great. Again, the long tail on Medium is huge. I'm a member of Medium. I can go up there and they'll serve me up because I've read this many articles based on this kind of stuff. Here's 5 articles we think you would like. And some of these things are 5 years old. So the long tail is very long, and you're going to a clientele who's looking for your work. They're looking to be entertained. They're looking to learn something new. So you're in right place, right time. That's why they put those kiosks in the malls. Well, malls are dead now, but back in the day, when you have a mall, you'd have a kiosk like iPad covers or iPhone covers. They put them in the mall because there's already customers at the mall looking to buy shit. Stuff. Sorry. I'm gonna clean my language up. They're looking to buy stuff. That's why they're there. They got their credit card in their back pocket. They got some cash in the front pocket. They're there to buy, fill in the blank, and you're there selling an iPhone case. Hey, man, might as well get it from you. Imagine that iPhone case dealer on the outskirts of town in a strip mall. Not going to work. You want people there looking to do what you do. So Medium is a great place. 500 to 1,000 words, 6 or 8 photographs, and you're golden. Tag it well, put it up, promote it now and then, promote it on your Facebook, promote it on your blog, promote it in your email, whatever, promote it. And it's okay to promote it in your personal email as well, because whether it's your Auntie Jane or somebody across the street or whoever clicks on that Medium article to read it, it drives the article's value up and you get found higher up in the algorithm. So it just makes sense to do that. So we're at Medium. Now, the next one is the one everybody talks about, and that's Instagram. Now, I am not a big Instagrammer. I don't really care for Instagram. I used to think it was really cool. Now I don't. However, I do have an Instagram, and I would tell every commercial photographer, if you don't have an Instagram, you must have an Instagram. The difference is you don't have to be, quote, an Instagrammer. An Instagrammer is somebody who's trying to build a huge following. Oh, look how many followers I have. And ooh, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And you know what 10,000 followers bring you? Absolutely nothing. Zip. Bring you anything. Now, this is where it gets a little bit dicey. Do art directors go to Instagram looking for photographers to hire? My data and the people I talk to say no. They are going to look at photographs, which is kind of a duh, but they're not necessarily looking for photographers to fill their assignment that they're sitting on their desk. They've got assignment on the desk. It's for a winery. They need 6 shots for a winery. They're not hitting Instagram. Do you know why? It's because 95% of the people on Instagram are amateurs. They're just, Bob takes pictures of wine and Sally, she shoots her lunch every day and all that stuff. So they would be setting themselves up for a long haul of trying to find somebody who shoots wine the way they want it to shoot, and then to find out, are they even on the same continent as the client is? Are they in the same state? Are they professional? Will they be able to pull this job off? So they're setting themselves up for a huge amount of pain. And so they're not doing it. They're going to look at pictures so they can be entertained. They're waiting for a client to come in. They're spending some time. They're doing something, but they're not thinking about finding a photographer for a client. There are a few exceptions. If you know the name Chris Burkhardt, Chris is a landscape environmental shooter, and I don't know. Jerry, I saw you shake your head. Are you aware of Chris? He's like 2.5 million followers or something like that.
I think I've heard of him. I was just going to go look to see if I recognize it.
It's Burkhardt, Burkhard. While Jerry is doing that, if you're an Instagrammer who has 1.5 million followers, there are some clients who are going to hire you because when your 1.5 million followers found out that you shot for such and such magazine, they're going to sell a couple thousand more magazines because your fans are going to go and buy the magazine. But if you've got 10,000, 4,000, 60,000, it's not going to move the needle. So what is Instagram for? It's for curated photography, because 9 times out of 10, when you meet somebody who's interested in photography, the first thing they're going to ask you is, what's your Instagram? Why? Because all they have to remember is at O'Connor, at Mayhew, at Blake. That's it. They don't have to write down this URL and all that kind of stuff. They can go there and see your pictures. So I say, yes, you have a curated, very carefully created Instagram site for them to see when they get there. Now, Instagram has instituted some pretty cool new things. Let me pop over to Instagram here. Put this current page away. Let's go to Finn. So this is Finn Beal's page. And Instagram lets you do, Instagram lets you do this now. These are mini stories that live at the top of your Instagram. So here's, if I click on Brightline, I didn't mean to, here's the work he did for Brightline. So it's like a portfolio page that you control on Instagram. Do they get hit? Do these things get hit a lot? Yeah, about 10 times more than your feed. About 10 times more than your feed. And you are curating them. So you control what's in here, probably by tags. You control what's in here. Now, this is the feed. So his feed goes through. And by the way, he's not prolific on here. 1845 posts, but last time I looked at Finn's Instagram was about a month ago, and I think this picture was already there. So it's not like he's putting stuff up every 20 minutes. So here's where everything you can do really comes into focus. Stories on Instagram get seen by more people than your feed shots. Why? Because on your phone, that feed's just rolling, right? If you're someone who's following 1,500 people, which is not a lot, if you're following, that thing's just, you can just sit there and watch the new pictures come in. It's like, wow, boom. And so that picture that Trisha posts at 11 o'clock, by 3 o'clock, it's so far down the feed, nobody knows Trisha posted it. It's lost. And when people go, okay, well, I'll go to the site. So here's Finn Beal's site. I can tell you that only about 12% of the people scroll down much farther than about there. When the pictures start popping in, they stop scrolling. So that the long tail isn't really here. It's all immediate. These, on the other hand, are long tail. They're up there. They're on every page, whether you click on that image or what, whenever you come back, there they are. And you want to go see Sri Lanka, there you go. So is Instagram important? Yes. Is it important for you to like spend time trying to get followers? Probably not. There's nothing wrong with getting followers. It's just about where do you place the emphasis of what you're doing is probably not to get followers, but to get quality work up there and to get this filled in as soon as you can with whatever projects. I see Machel is here. So Machel, you could do all the mountain shots that you've done. You could do the Pyrenees and the ones in Austria and things. You create these little stories that live on and on. You don't have to worry about curating them once you've done it. You may add to it now and then. This is Sophie Benoit's site. She's working, doing the mustache thing for most mustaches in Movember for men's prostate cancer. And so she keeps a very tidy, very focused Instagram page. So as she's doing things, you can see where her focus has changed. So it's very tightly curated. Really a great page. And you have David Langton is a product still life photographer. So he's making sure he's got that type of work up here. And then if you want to see something like fragrance, you can just pop in there. And there's, a whole, if fragrance is what you're looking for, there you go. So you can see how this is a much different approach to Instagram than most people take, and putting up all kinds of crap pictures of, what they did in their lunch and on and on and on. And in reality, you need to curate it more, be very careful about what you put in, and then take advantage of this up top. Also stories. Stories last longer. You can create or get more hits than your feed because they're up at the top and people will walk through your stories. You can lose people on your stories, both in Instagram and Facebook, if your stories are too long. I had to drop a photographer from my Facebook because he started putting up like 30 things in a story. Well, they're up for 10 seconds. So that's 300 seconds. That's 5 minutes. I'm not going to sit and look at your story for 5 minutes. I'm just not going to do it. I'm too busy. And art directors are too busy. So the photographer who's putting all that stuff up, he's putting it up for other photographers. I will guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to get much work from other photographers. They already know a guy. They already have a gal. They're going to do the work. They're not going to call you and hire you off your Instagram pages. So be really, really careful with how much time and effort you put into this, but be very aware that you have to put in serious time and effort for your curated items. Next one up is Facebook. Honestly, if you're going after local clients, local small business, mom and pop stuff. So you want to work, you want to do Instagram photography for restaurants, which is a good gig. A lot of restaurants are hiring photographers to spend a couple hours a month in the restaurant, shooting the food, shooting the ambiance, shooting whatever, so that they have one picture a day for their Instagram. It's a good job. It's a good gig. It's quite lucrative because you're going to put in 2 hours. You're going to charge them $400, $500, $600 for 2 hours of photography. And then, you're going to have it on a contract. You're going to come back next month. So, 4 or 5 of those contracts at $600 to $1,000 a month is it's a solid base income. And those clients are out there. If you're going to do that, then Facebook would be okay. You can go after small clients. If you're going after ad agencies, graphic design firms, magazines, editors, marcoms, and corporations, Facebook is not the place, because people are not coming to Facebook to find a photographer for their next ad. They're coming to Facebook to see how Jim's doing, check on one of their friends who's in the hospital. They're coming to find out about vacation, post-vacation pictures, etc. Their mindset is not, oh, I got to find a photographer. And so, and again, because many of the same reasons as Instagram. Wow, that's a really cool photograph. But they don't know anything about the photographer. Is that the only photograph that photographer's ever done in their lives that's any good? Did the photographer spend a week getting that shot? Or is that something they can do pulling it out of the hat? Because that's what we have to do as commercial photographers. They talk a lot about stress and stuff in this business. And part of that stress comes from the fact that you got to hit a home run every time. You got to hit a home run every time you go up behind the camera. You don't come back to the client and go, yeah, I got some pictures. They're kind of crappy, but they'll do for you, right? No one does that in this business. Everybody's striving for a home run, and it's a little tough. Well, they're not looking for home run hitters on Facebook. Their mentality isn't there. So Don, what does that leave? Well, it leaves 2 very important sites. One is free and one costs a lot of money. If money was no object, I would tell you that theworkbook.com would be where I would put you, without a doubt. But it's also, I want to say $180 or $240 a month, $180 a month or $250 a month, something like that. Very expensive place to be. But when I talk to art directors all over the country, it's the number one place they go to find talent. Let's ask ourselves why. Because they're professional art directors and they're going to the workbook where professional photographers, at least they're professional enough to be able to afford $160 a month, are. They're not going to look through the workbook and go, gosh, I wonder if this photographer's, I wonder if they're an amateur. I wonder if they're, local. I wonder, all that information's there. And they're a good photographer because they're in the workbook. Because the workbook won't let just anybody in. So it's not like, well, I'm a shitty photographer, but I got plenty of money. I'll buy my way in. Nope. They want to know what you do. They want to know how well you do it. And then you can get in. So that would be my first choice, but that's expensive. So Don, where's the second best choice that's free? And that's Behance or Behance. I like Behance. Behance. Let's go and look at Behance for a second. This is the least, when I talk to photographers, and I talk to a lot of photographers because I do personal one-on-one coaching, Project 52. When I talk to photographers, they never mention Behance. They never talk about it. Because it is, while it is social media, it's kind of specialized social media. It's not a lot of, there's no politics, there's no religion, there's nothing, it's just work. Just work. Can't find out about so-and-so's family or what happened down the street. It's just work. And it's all professional work. But the cool thing is, let's look at this. We've got a designer, maybe illustrator. Here's an agency, branding agency. Here's, I don't know what that is. Here's automotive CGI. Oh, here's Julian Cost. All right, very cool. There's ad agencies here, and there's photographers here. Aaron Brimhall, I believe, is the photographer who did the Zero motorcycles. Yeah. The people who come to Behance are people who hire and work with photographers, and they're coming here to find people to shoot with. That's their mindset coming in. And if they're not, that's not their mindset coming in, okay. I want to be on the same page with graphic designers, ad agencies, brand people. I want to be on that same page. In other words, if you think of like Flickr or 500 pixels or any of those things, any of those where photographers go and they go, oh yeah, show your work up on Flickr. And I would say, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. So let's clear that. There's nothing wrong with it. But my next question is, why? The only people who go to Flickr are photographers. Why are you worried about what other photographers do with your work? I mean, gaining a lot of photographers go, wow, your stuff's really cool. That translates into how much income? Zero. Doesn't matter. I don't care about them. I care about these folks. So you can put your work up on here and people will come in and they can appreciate it. There's no down thumb. There's no negative. They can appreciate it or not. And if you get people who do appreciate your work, the more people who appreciate it, the higher up the algorithm goes. And it's really, really cool. This is how you get in front of, it's like I was saying, if I'm going to go to a party, do I want to go to a party full of other photographers? Do I want to go to a party at the ad agency where there's nothing but ad people who hire photographers? I want to be over there. Not that I'm snubbing photographers, but over here is where I'm going to make contacts that matter to my business. And if you think that this is not a work your butt off, 24 hours a day business, it's the wrong business for you, because you have to think about your business 24 hours a day. Doesn't mean you have to be a workaholic or anything, but you do have to be thinking about it. So they do have hashtags up here. So if you click on a hashtag photography, you get this little thing. You can put pictures up here to share. This is kind of like Instagram, I guess. You put your pictures up there and people can scroll through them. Usually you're putting up work that you're working on or new work, and people will flip through them. But you'll kind of notice that in many cases, the photographers here on Behance are so good they can be intimidating. And then we get into a whole different thing about not being intimidated. Other people's work doesn't have anything to do with yours, and all of those, personal motivation things. But it can be intimidating. There's a lot of really, really good work on here. When I'm working with photographers, this is where I want you to be. This is where you interface with other clients, graphic designers. You're just looking through here, you go, oh, well, that's what is this here? Land bank, social media contents. I don't know what that means. We'll come over here. Okay, so this is work that Len Banks has done for social media contacts, all right? Cool. I'm gonna give it an appreciate that. I can also send him a message. Hey, really awesome stuff. Love what you did with the animations, blah, blah, blah. And he may respond to me. That's great. That's where I want to be as a marketer. So to recap quickly, it's Behance, workbook at the top, unaffordable for most of us starting out. Behance, then Instagram, then LinkedIn, then Medium, then YouTube, and at the bottom's TikTok and Twitter. Spend your time wisely. Now, who wants to be the first to say, geez, Don, that's a lot of content, man. It's like, are you kidding me? I'm going to spend my entire day creating content. I'm going to be working on my Medium thing and posting on Behance. And I'm like, you have to master the fine art of taking one piece of content and fitting it to the different places that you need to put it. For instance, let's say you did a picture. Let's see if I have it here. Come on. My I have an iMac. It's 4 years old, and it's developed an attitude problem. So I'm having to deal with that. So hold on, here we go. Come on. There we go. I'll share this with you. So let's say you went out into the woods with somebody and you shot some mountaineering pictures. You ended up with about 5 mountaineering pictures. We're going to use this for everything. We're going to start at the bottom. We're going to go to YouTube. We're going to put these 5 pictures. We got a little one that we've added a title to. We're going to start out with that on YouTube, and we're going to narrate what we did. We got to the mountains, it was really cold, and then we got a great shot of the distance there. Shooting into a white sky is always interesting for me, especially when I can frame the person right up against it. And you're going to talk about your photographs. You can talk about your photographs, can't you? If you can't, we have another problem. We have to have a conversation on why you can't talk about your photographs, because you should be able to tell me volumes about these photographs. So you've got this little, 5 shots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a cover. So 5 shots, that's a good 5-minute video about what you did. So now we got a 5-minute video with those 5 shots. All right, great. We wiped out YouTube, going up the ladder. Medium, LinkedIn. The day I climbed such and such mountain, and you take that same audio that you discussed in YouTube, off the top of your head, and you listen to it, and you write 500 to 800 words to go along with your 5 pictures about when you went up there and the white skies and shooting backlit and all the fun things that you did. There's your Medium story and your LinkedIn blog, same 5 pictures. We move up again to Instagram. So you've got 5 images to post on Instagram, plus you have an Instagram story, plus you have one of those little portfolios where you can probably add more, because I'm sure if you climbed up the mountain and you got these 5 really good images, you probably got more, right? So we've got more images to do, but we're not going to have to do another shoot. So we have this already. You've got your Instagram story, you got your Instagram feed, you've got your Facebook story. If you want to go to Facebook, you've got that. Can be the same as your Instagram story. And then we get up to Behance and you do a portfolio on Behance and you put in these 5 shots. And we've taken one piece of copy and we've spread it out for all of those content places, all of them. That means we're not spending all week developing content. We're spending an hour plus whatever time it took to climb the mountain and shoot the people here. Now I'm going to say something really off the wall. I'll probably get, when this thing, if you guys take umbrage with what I say, please let me know right now, because I'll chat with you about it. You're better off putting pictures on Unsplash than Instagram. Unsplash is where you give your photograph away. You take your photograph, you put it up on Unsplash, anybody can download it and use it for anything. And the reason you're better putting it on Unsplash than you are on Instagram is, what is the motivation for an art director to go to Unsplash in the first place? To get a photograph. So their mind, they're looking for photographs and photographers. And I know a lot of people do not like Unsplash. They say, well, you know, you're giving this away or whatever. Well, these pictures are all from Unsplash right here. And these are really good photographs. Jerry, I'm going to pick on Jerry because Jerry's a friend of mine here in Phoenix. Jerry, these were taken, I believe, in the mountains around Chile. Okay. How many clients in Phoenix are going to hire you to put your butt on an airplane, fly to Chile to take a picture of a guy in a red coat up on a mountain?
0.
0. It ain't gonna happen.
Nope.
They
Go
don't
to
have,
Unsplash and get it.
there's no budget for that.
Nope.
You know? So they're going to turn to stock. Well, okay. They can turn to stock. They're going to find maybe what they look for in stock. They turn to Unsplash. Now, here's the problem. And here's the gold for photographers. Here's the problem. They need 6 pictures of this guy. But that's the only one on Unsplash with the red jacket. They need 6 pictures. Unsplash is not the savior that so many wannabe photographers think, oh, Unsplash is going to put us out of business. No, it's not. It's not going to mess your business at all. The pictures that are getting used, they're never going to pay for them anyway. And the better pictures that they use means they need better pictures. So they find this one shot. They go, oh, look, Jerry shot these on vacation in Chile. Great. They got to get a hold of Jerry and say, you got any more shots of the guy in the red? And now you got a sale. Or maybe they look at it and go, that's really awesome. Look, it says Jerry lives in Arizona. Let's see if he can go up to Hopi land or Navajo land and get some shots. You could get an assignment from that. You're better off on Unsplash than you are on almost every other social media place. And Unsplash doesn't have any negative reviews. There's no dislikes. So I don't think there's dislikes on Instagram, right? You either like it or you don't, right? Yeah. So it's pretty amazing. And the landscape is ever changing. But when I see these articles about where you should be for social media, the thing that they leave out is, what's the motivation for your potential client to be there? Because if it's not to find a photographer, it may not be worth it. So, time for questions. Well, first of all, I should say, did that make sense to you guys? Or if you think I'm shooting wrong, let me know, okay? Because I have plenty of reasons why I do it, but I'm always willing to listen to someone tell me where they think I'm wrong.
So I have a
Right,
question.
question.
Oh, sorry. Can I go or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were talking about Facebook being kind of for direct clients. So I mean, you talk a lot about like creative directors or people like that. But for direct clients, would it make sense if you picked a particular genre, or so there's a lot of real estate in Phoenix,
Yes.
and if I wanted to try to get
Yes.
direct clients from that, you go to Instagram, maybe take a picture of their construction site or fly a drone or do something, and then tag them, try to get them, try to engage with them directly on Instagram and do that over a whole host of projects. I mean, it's one idea that I've had is to try to go out, pick a particular genre, maybe even set up its own Instagram
Well,
and
that's what,
focus that.
yeah, in the mentoring class, in the mentoring stuff that I do, like Greg is in Kansas City. So we've picked 5 breweries, local breweries. And he went out and got the beer, brought it back, shot a packaging shot, shot a beer shot. Of the 5, he's been contacted by 4 and hired by 2, possibly a third is on the way. So does it work? Oh, you bet it works. It works local. It doesn't necessarily work outside. So we didn't pick a winery in Oregon and a brewery in Atlanta, because chances are the brewery in Atlanta is probably going to hire an Atlanta photographer to do it. It's just the way it is. There's not enough in the budget for them to go, oh, we're gonna send an art director and an assistant art director over to Kansas City to shoot the beer when we could do that here. There's plenty of photographers. But locally, yeah, finding those local breweries, finding local construction companies. The neat thing about shooting construction is that they put up big signs with how to contact them. No other business does that. But if you drive by where they're building a building, they got a big sign out there, Bob Edwards Construction Company, here's my phone number. There you go. Call them up saying, got some cool shots of your construction, and get in the door, then get the gig.
Or even tag them on Instagram, right? I mean, you can take the shots, and then if they have an Instagram account, right?
If they have an Instagram account, yeah, that's what we did with the breweries. We've also done it direct mail, where we've had Judy, we did that by direct mail. She did a big packaging shot, shoot for a client there in, I believe it was Oakland or Santa Clara, really big packaging shot. We took that packaging and then we created a series of emails and we sent them out to major food processors like Pillsbury and Kraft and all the people we could find, the art directors, et cetera, we could find. And I think we ended up sending out like 30. She got 5 responses and 2 gigs. Those 2 gigs are, if she lived in Phoenix, Jerry, she wouldn't have to work the rest of the year. 2 gigs. I mean, she couldn't buy a Ferrari and not work the rest, but she could live pretty well. So it does work. It works really, really well. But how hard was it to get those names at Pillsbury and Kraft? And God, it was weeks, literally weeks to get those names. And that's where photographers stop. They just stop. If you market yourself 3 times a day, a direct mail, an email, and a phone call, if you do it 3 times a day religiously, at the end of a month, you've made 60 contacts. Get on the phone, call any of your photographer friends, any of you, and ask them if they've marketed to 60 people in the last month. And the answer will be resounding no. In this business, which is a numbers business, you gotta kiss a lot of frogs. You gotta line up a lot of frogs to kiss. You gotta constantly be getting, because you're gonna get more no's than you get yeses. You line them up. If you keep going with those numbers, you will get a job. When I was selling that fine photo clients, I could literally give people a money back guarantee. If this doesn't work, I'll give your money back to you. But you got to work the plan. You have to work the plan. If you contact 3 a day, you'll work. I guarantee it. Just guarantee, unless you're, contacting people that aren't, serious about hiring you or what have you. But if you're talking to people that'll hire you, you get work.
I had a question for you, John. You
Yeah,
had
Mark.
said you had mentioned linking Behance to your LinkedIn account. One is how do you do that? And then the other thing to bring up was like the programs that will do your Instagram post for you. And I know we've talked about it before, but I thought I'd bring it up where you can pre-program your Instagram stuff.
Yeah, there's one called Monday, and then there's one called Later, and then there's one called, I think I've got it up here somewhere in my Raindrop, I think. Is it Raindrop? Yes, Raindrop. You can maybe it is. I can't remember. But yeah, you can preload it. So you can do all of your Instagram posts for the month on Later. Push the button, it saves them, and then every day at 10 o'clock, it posts that image. The problem with that is for social media to really work, you've got to engage the people who are engaging with you. So let's say you go, okay, I'm going to use Later, and it's putting stuff up. And you put up a picture that happens to catch the art director for Boulevard Watches. And he sends you a little note, man, cool shot, give us a call. But you don't go to Instagram because you're so smart. You've got it so it's just posting all by itself. And you stop going and you don't engage. You can miss things to engage with. For every picture that you put up, you should be engaging with 10 other photographers or art directors, because they're up there, as well as graphic designers, as well as ad agencies are on Instagram. I would say put up a picture and go and find those 10 people that you're following, 10 special people, like, Bob Adams, graphic design, who's in your town, does a lot of work. Go over to Bob, see what, Bob posted that. Great shot, Bob. I love your use of color. That's all you got to say. And pretty soon it goes, wow, I got this fan. I'm going to go check out Jerry O'Connor. Oh, Jerry O'Connor. Oh, he's a photographer. Oh, wow, we need a photographer for such and such. That's how it works. It doesn't like just I'm flipping through looking for somebody and go, oh, I'm going to call up Katie Smith here, and she's a great photographer. She's got a great Instagram, but she's a soccer mom that lives in Wales, and only shoots nature or whatever, and that's not going to work for you. You may need a nature shot, but she lives in Wales, and you're in Sydney. Who else?
Hey Don, I got a question about Unsplash.
Yeah.
For Aaron? Like, yes, this is
Yeah.
Aaron. For like commercial work, do you see Unsplash being viable for that compared to editorial? Because your example was talking about needing a spread.
Yes.
Where,
yes, absolutely. It can be. There are. Have you been there, Aaron? You've been there, Unsplash?
I've been to Unsplash. I've uploaded 2 or 3 images, but I haven't used it a whole lot. It's been a couple of years. What I uploaded was some trips from China and stuff, but my focus is more in the industrial area. So, two, would you mix like stuff you do on vacation or stuff you do personally, as well as the stuff you shoot, for money? So.
Well, yeah, you got to be very careful. If you shot something for a client, you really can't put it on Unsplash because you may be violating your contractual obligations to the client, right? But let's say you're a construction person. Okay, you go out to a construction site and you get a shot of a bucket up in the air. Perfect blue sky. The sun's right behind the bucket. Cool shot, right?
Yeah.
Cool shot, and you shoot it. Now, in your portfolio, it looks good, but it's really an absolutely useless photograph, but it looks really cool. Somebody could use that for, do you have a bucket list? Or how high have you gone in your corporation? Or any kind of blog post that deals with being up high, because it's that bucket up there. So you put that bucket up there. Now, older people, photographers been in the business a long time. They go, well, you're giving that picture away. They could just come and get that bucket picture from you and not pay you for it. I go, yeah. How many jobs do you think they only need one picture of a bucket? They don't exist. Generally, if you're doing industrial work, they need what? 5, 10, 15 images, right?
Yeah.
So they see the bucket, they go, well, this guy's pretty good. They'll call you because your information is right there, your phone number, your email, your website, all that stuff's right. When they click on Aaron Kress, they're going to go right to it. They go, that's really, really good. I did a little experimentation with Project 52 folks. And I said, okay, think of a job or take any one of the Project 52 assignments that I've given you and go up to Unsplash and see if you can satisfy the assignment with the 2.5 million pictures that are on Unsplash. There's a total zero.
What is the recycle or like how long is the tail end of Unsplash? Does it like
forever?
Are you constantly have to post there to be higher up in the algorithm? Or
nope. Okay. No, makes no difference at all. That it has to do with the tag. So let's say you see, and industrial is one of those areas where you're never going to be threatened because yes, it may be a shot of a bucket. What are the chances of the label on the side of the bucket being any particular client that you're shooting for? Pretty scarce, right?
Yeah.
It could be a Soviet bucket up there for all we know, right? So yeah, it's a cool bucket shot, but it can't be used for everything. And if someone is going to hire you in Phoenix or where are you located, Aaron?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, Charlotte. If someone's going to hire you in Charlotte, they're probably going to hire you to shoot a local construction firm, which means you're going to need local trucks, local whatever. So you can use Unsplash as saying, "Hey, art directors, I'm going to put up 50 really cool industrial shots that you guys can use whatever you have at it." But I'm in Charlotte and I shoot industrial construction. You're going to have more of an opportunity to sell somebody that way than if you go and put it on Flickr, for instance.
And with Unsplash, would you recommend avoiding any kind of branding in those pictures? Like if not getting pictures of Caterpillar on there, or trying to avoid angles where it doesn't show specific.
No, because then you're thinking stock. When you're thinking stock, you're going to get paid.
Okay.
You're thinking this is a cool picture. I'm going to put it up.
Okay. I see the difference.
Otherwise, I wouldn't want any photographer to go out of their way for Unsplash to try to get people to download their free pictures. You're giving them away free. You give away what you give away, whether they use it or not is different. And if they want to download it and airbrush it out, Photoshop it out, that's up to them. But yeah, you don't go through that. Unsplash came in real handy recently because I designed a brochure with a lot of data in it on why good photography sells more product. And this data came from eBay and Amazon, both of which don't have a dog in the hunt for photography because they don't have a photography studio. But they do make more money if you sell more stuff, right? So they did these studies to try to get the people who advertise on Amazon and eBay to do better pictures. So you sell more stuff, they can make more money. And they have all this data. I mean, these are scientific journals with graphs and stuff, math that I don't get, all this stuff. I took all that and I created a 4-page, 8.5 by 11, folded in half brochure for my mentoring group. They can open it up and change it, make it for their area. And we wanted to show what a bad food shot looks like versus a good food shot. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not ever going to go on the internet and download somebody's bad picture and use it. But number one, that's not fair. It's not right. And it's illegal. And number two, I don't ever want to humiliate anybody. And then I remembered Unsplash says you can use the pictures for anything. Okay. So I went up to Unsplash and found some really crappy food shots. Used that as the crappy food shot and a good food shot as the good food shot. And I didn't feel bad about it because Unsplash says you can use them for whatever you want. And so we did.
Makes sense.
But 99% of the time, or 90% of the time easily, of the time you're going to get hired to do a photograph, it's going to be specific. It's this loaf of bread. It's that mayor of the city. It's that building over there. It's this bottle of wine. It's not something you can go to Unsplash and find. Unsplash is great for editorial and for blogs. Because if you're writing a blog about the most exhilarating adventure you've ever had, you know, your bucket shot could work. Your bucket shot could work for bucket list. Your bucket shot could work for 100 things that are not related to construction.
Do you think Unsplash will kind of take over stock photography?
No. Stock photography will airbrush out the label or shoot labelless wine. If your stock photographer will make very sure that everything lines up and all of the things. The other thing about Unsplash, you ever notice how many pictures of people looking away from the camera there are?
I haven't been on there recently, but
yeah.
I'll check it out.
It's about 80%.
Okay.
Because you don't need a release.
Okay.
So you can take a picture of anybody's back of their head and put it on Unsplash. If you're going to show the front of their face, you need a release.
Yeah.
You're going to be in big trouble. So, no, I don't think for major stock photography, no, I don't think, because it's all one-offs, Aaron. Everybody they have a lot of pictures, but they're one-offs. And usually if you're going to be hired to do something, a brochure, whatever, they're going to want more than one shot. And B, they're stylistically they're not uniform. So you've got one guy over here crushing his blacks. This guy's opening his blacks up. This shot is, got a filter on it. This shot is black and white. It's all over the place. One-offs are great. But if you needed 10 shots to talk about going to Peru, it might be tough to find 10 shots that would be sort of stylistically the same, even on Unsplash. So you have to hire a photographer to get that or go to stock. Who else? Anything else? Anyone? I see. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. I want to just say one or two words here about Project 52. Project 52 is a 1-year commitment from you, and we do 52 assignments. We have 52 live critiques. We do bidding. We do how to write RFPs, how to answer RFPs. We talk about everything in a real holistic manner. So instead of just showing you where to put the light to shoot wine, we talk about, okay, you're going to do a wine shot. How do you figure out where to put the light? What problems are you going to have? How long did it take you? How much would you charge for this? What if it was an ad? What if it was an editorial? How would you approach it differently? On and on and on. In the old days, you could become a photographer by assisting another photographer. Those days are gone. There's so few assistant jobs. It's really terrible. And the other thing is, most of the people who take my workshop, my Project 52, are not in a position to quit their job, go to New York, live with 3 other guys in a 4-story walk-up flat and make peanuts while learning this business. So Project 52 was created to try to fill that in. So all the stuff you would learn assisting, you learn on this class, in this class. And we're going to do a whole discussion about that in about, I want to say about an hour, I think.
25 minutes.
In how long?
25.
25 minutes, yes. We're doing a photo. I do a thing called Photo Talk Friday, every Friday, and it's an hour long. Sid Caesar is a photographer in New Hampshire and joins me. And today we are going to have some Project 52 people on there to talk about Project 52. And if you all have questions, are you thinking about doing it, or you wonder how it would fit in for you, come on down and ask questions of people who are currently in it and people who have recently, or in some cases quite a while, left it. I think Alex is coming, and she's been she graduated out of it like 3 years ago. So we have quite a mix of people. Come and join us, ask some questions, find out what's going on. It's really a lot of fun. And it's designed to get you working, whether you want to quit your job and become full-time or just do a really amazing side hustle. make it happen if you know how to, if you know the system and you know how it works. So thank you all for coming. I love talking about this stuff, and I really like helping photographers. I've been a photographer for over 50 years, and this is my way of giving back. It is Black Friday. I'm not selling anything at all, except since it is Black Friday, I have this used mouse here. It's in good condition. The batteries are probably pretty good. $1.4 million, and this mouse is yours. You like that, Sophie? I'm only going to sell one thing on Black Friday, and that's a $1.4 million used $10 mouse. So if you're interested, what's that?
I'll have it done.
All right. Well, there won't be another show, folks, because I'm retiring as soon as I get that PayPal money. Everybody have a great one. We'll see you back here if you join us. And if not, have a great weekend. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving and take care. See you next time.
Thanks, Don.